You ready? I want to welcome everybody to our meeting, March 6, 2018 at 6 o'clock. This time I need approval of the agenda.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion of none? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Tonight our invocation and pledge is Pastor Joe Ridley, Church of the Body of Christ. Always a pleasure.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we approach the throne of grace. We thank you for mercy and grace to help in the time of need, Father. And we are always standing in need of your help, your leadership, oh God. You said in all our ways acknowledge you, and you would direct our path. Our path need direction, Father, because we don't know what to do. We need the wisdom that come from you, Father, so that we'll know how to live a life in the midst of crookedness and perverseness. We pray blessings, oh God, on the county commissioners, oh God, on the governments of this county, Father, not only the governments of this county, federal government, and President Trump and all of his co-workers, all of his vice president and everybody that connected to the White House, Father. We just need your intervention. We need you to wake earth wood. Thank you right now for enabling us to be here today, Father. You see the heart of every man, Father, and enable us to surrender our lives totally to you so you can fill our hearts with your kind of love. We thank you right now for being in this place at this time, Father. We find out you're not only sufficient, but you're more than enough. And we commit to you, Father, trust you. You will give our paths directives. And we thank you for it now. Bless everyone on this side of my voice. Bless the county commissioner. Bless the chairman. Bless every other county commissioner, Father, and everyone that's in this room, Father. Bless them in your name. Stretch your hand out over us, Father, and help us to understand what we need is you. And we thank you now. Take all of us today. Hide us behind the cross. Keep us covered in the blood of Jesus. Thank you. Keep us, dear God, in the center of your will. And whatever you do for or through us, we're going to be careful to give you the glory. Praise and honor belongs to you. And we thank you for it now in Jesus' name. Every heart said amen. Amen. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Moving on, we've got consent agenda and approval of the minutes, third Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. Everybody had an opportunity to look at that? So, need approval of that?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
A motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second. No discussion, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. All right, we move on to new business. We have a budget adjustment request from elections. Marion Hatton.
Good evening, gentlemen. I've come before you tonight to ask for an increase in my budget, the line item advertising. I originally had $200 in there, which pretty much would have covered what I needed for the year. My advertising is very short until the T-SPLOST came along. Because it is a special election in an even-numbered year, it has to be advertised 90 days before the election. I've already done that. This is the minimum. That is our ad. The cost of one ad is $472.50. Because it is a SPLOST, it has to be run again 4 more times immediately prior to the election for a total amount of $2,362.50, and that's the amount I'm requesting tonight.
Okay. Quick question. What will we do? Should we ask about the possibility of the city? Is there something coming up with the city? We'll have a special election or something, somebody resigning?
Well, yes.
So will there be?
Totally unaware of that.
Yeah, she announced, Kima, Mayor Pro Tem announced last night that she was moving to Oregon. So.
How will that, you gonna need another adjustment, or will you have?
No, the city will reimburse us 100% for that.
While we had you.
We will have a special election for it.
Sure.
But it will be at no cost to the county.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't nothing we needed handled since we already had you here.
Okay.
Any questions? None. I need a motion for the budget adjustment.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Number 2, we got 4 outdoor basketball courts for the Maddie Wells Community Center. Commissioner Martin.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I haven't been aware that we do have some splosh dollars available. And knowing that our outdoor basketball courting is limited across the county, made this request for 4. I know we talked about doing 2, but the opportunity to do tournaments and allow our kids to have multiple courts to practice and play on, I think just benefits the county as a whole and definitely is a good fit for Maddie Wells.
Okay. You asked me proposals for the cost of 4. Is that what you're?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion or questions?
Well, I mean, I would support getting proposals for it because I think it's probably something worthwhile doing, and I see it's something we could do in the future. But is Matt here? Oh, right here. With the Recreation Advisory Committee, we've talked about this the last 2 meetings about prioritizing. There was some question the last meeting, I think, about doing some sidewalk work and money that was left over. My biggest concern is we pulled stuff out of the Highway 18 complex that was budgeted with SPLOST money, and you know, in my opinion, we just hadn't. I keep saying that we got to finish something. We hadn't finished that. We pulled stuff out of it, and now we're looking at spending that money in other places. And we've asked that advisory committee to prioritize the needs in recreation countywide, and I'm a little concerned about getting the cart before the horse and putting money for different things that without prioritizing them. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a need. I think would be widely used. Just don't want to jump the gun on vying for that SPLOST money, I guess.
You want to respond to?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it incumbent upon the county to look at the entire county. The Highway 18 ballpark shouldn't take all of the resources of Parks and Rec. 2.7 million was leveraged, not on behalf of my constituents, because I voted against it. So to have to make us wait further for other projects because Highway 18 is more important than any other part of the county, I think is ill-advised and unwise. The advisory board doesn't speak for my constituents. I do as the elected official here. While we do have somebody that's appointed to that board, the board is more gray than it is 49. So again, I think there's a distinct disadvantage there with regard to it. Once again, the Highway 18 ballpark isn't the only park in the county. Maybe because most of you have decided that it is, that's where you allocate all of the resources. For it to get $2.7 million and obligated SPLOST into the future and everybody else suffer, I think that's unfair. Complete projects, I think y'all should complete the Highway 18 project, but I don't think anybody else in any other park should suffer. There are no outdoor basketball courts in 49. We have to drive to Gray and hope that that one basketball court is available. I just found out in the last meeting we could go to Haddock to play basketball. I think that, again, is unfair. For constituents that represent 1/4 of the body and probably the tax roll for basketball courts in our district, the minute amount that you would spend on this side of town, I think is well worth the investment for keeping our boys and all of the interested parties off the streets and on the court.
So staying with this advisory board, they have a timeline when they're going to present a priority list for the entire county when it comes to Parks and Recreation?
Matt,
We should have that list ready in April.
In April.
We'll probably finalize it this month, our third Thursday meeting,
Okay.
which will be the first Tuesday in April.
And is this project, the basketball courts, on that list of items that are listed as priorities for Jones County, or?
Yes, sir.
It is, okay.
Any more discussion or question? Is it consistent to allow Matt to at least look at the cost of this?
Right, let's look at the cost of it. That's the proposal that I think is on the table.
Put that in motion. All right, we'll have a motion to allow Matt looking at the cost of doing this project.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? None. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Going to number 3, perimeter trail at the Matty Wells Community Center. Commissioner Martin, I did what I promised. I put boots on the ground today, and that's a beautiful piece of property.
Yes, sir.
You didn't realize Matt had told me of an outdoor classroom down there. Beautiful. And, somebody at one time had already had a trail through there because a lot of the species of trees are marked with a nice post with what they are. But it links talking with Matt, they said they'd already looked at the different link, where it linked into the rec complex, to school, several other places. But definitely a beautiful piece of property with a lot of potential.
Absolutely. And Mr. Chair, I put it on the agenda. You all had talked about it, and, it sounded exciting, especially from the concept of keeping it natural, sort of kind of the bulldoze it mulched concept. I definitely would love for it to connect to Hampton Lakes if there is interest. I would definitely like to talk with their homeowners association because it would impact or affect the folks that are right nearby. But I think it would be of value to them. And without question, over to Matty Wells, or Wells Primary, we're still a partner with the school system, and having kids have that ability to walk safely without any intervention with the roadway there or any truckers that might pull in to that outdoor classroom. And if we have the ability to do any restoration, great. Maybe they'll partner with us on it. But it just gives us another natural place to park. Considering the passive park concept here, that's another alternative for that side of town, and we don't really have a place to walk, let alone a sidewalk to get there.
Jones County really does not have what you consider nature walk. We've got Dawson Trail in Jackson that you can go to. I've been to a number of areas that are great trails just to walk in the woods and in nature. And I think it's a project that could be done smart. I think just putting boots on the ground I think Commissioner Kitchen said in Bibb County, how'd y'all lay it out? You actually did center lines with a flag and then mowed that and then looked back at it when you got through
Yeah, adjust it 2 or 3 feet either way. It's a simple way of doing it because there's no real structure. You can make the trail as you need it, just follow the boundary lines, but you kind of, if you weave in and out instead of just making it a perfectly circle or oval track, that's boring for people to walk. Make it meander through in and out of some trees and stuff like that existing.
And nice thing about it, the county does have I'm throwing John in on this, and they've got a nice skid steer with enclosed ROPS that we can rent a mower for the front of it. There's somebody sitting in the back that's darn good at landscaping, and I bet he could put a very nice trail together, give him the opportunity. He's back there laughing right now, but he knows what I'm talking about. But at least get a start as far as see what we've got. I know walking today, I kind of enjoyed the walk. I did end up with wet boots when it was over with, but I caught it between the rains, but it was a beautiful area through there. Then I've also put in your package, you see the aerial views, you're gonna look at it up the track.
Oh yeah.
Where it connects to all the different locations. Matt, you said it connects with the rec complex down there too?
No, when we put the proposal in about 2 years ago for the DNR grant, our drawing at the time, and I'm sure I got it in my office somewhere, if not, I'm sure Regent still has the grant package, but it tied into the rec complex, the school, and the neighborhood, because the grant required a live, work, play concept to get the grant. So we tied it into live, the Hampton Lakes, work, the school, and play at the ballpark. So we had it where it ties into them.
Sure, but I went and tax assessor was nice enough to give me a copy there. We just look at it, kind of get an idea where the lines were, because I was walking out there not realizing exactly where. I felt like I was on the right place, but nobody came and got me. I was all right.
Good.
But going forward, do we want to look at going ahead and possibly doing a rough layout as far as what we can do, maybe flags, mark it off?
And just do something in-house?
We're starting in-house as far as, I'm just throwing out ideas, but obviously I can't make a motion, but throwing out ideas that we possibly start something in-house. But doing nothing more, there are existing trails there, and those could be reopened. That outside classroom is, if you hadn't seen it, you need to go and look at it. It's
Very nice.
It's very nice. It needs some cleaning up, a little work, but it's I mean, you could almost do an outside wedding there if you want to. I mean, you need to look at it. Whoever did it, they did a good job. And as you look around, you start seeing, obviously it's grown up. It needs some TLC, but they've got hawthorn bushes marked and whatnot. So it's, at one time they had intentions to, it was a nice place, but it's just grown up.
Well, Mr. Chair,
go ahead.
I was going to say I would move that we start in-house with it and seek potential partnership with the Board of Ed and anybody else who wants to participate in it.
Okay.
So maybe we can get some detailed help with cleanup, with undergrowth and shrubs. And
it'd be great if we could put a match on it. I don't know how we can do that, but if we could get a good burn through there, because there's a lot of old stuff that
we got a burn ban right now, Chief. We do.
No.
You can lift it.
Don said, no, we don't.
We must not.
That'd be a good exercise.
Half of Jones County.
That would be a good. That'd be a good exercise.
Your area too.
Yep. But going forward with the board's permission to start some in-house going forward. I know Hertz Equipment, Rental, and United both offer a attachment that'll fit on your cat track machine. Will mow up to 3 inches, and I think you can choose where you go through there.
And they come do a demo for you on a new piece of equipment.
You probably make that happen too.
3-day demo.
3-day demo. About 3 days to have it done. I mean, I'm well impressed. I've seen a lot of the work with the road crews, and if they can do it on the side of the road, I know they can get out in the middle of the woods and make it look pretty too. But we don't need to go forward and just consent to go forward.
Got a motion.
Okay, we got a motion. We got a second on going forward in-house.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? None. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Got that. Number 4, Commissioner Martin, is you also extended hours for summer camp at Maddie Wells Community Center.
Right, Mr. Chair, I know we started with it last summer, and we were towards the end, and we allocated, a small budgeted amount for it. I can foresee there being some need for the hours to be extended. I know we're going to go into a budget cycle at some point, but I'm not exactly sure what resources might be available. But I was asked by some parents, and I said, well, I'll put it on the agenda and ask, could we extend the hours? And I don't know the exact number, but if it was summer camp, I would assume it would be 50 to 60 hours during the week.
Okay. Any discussion or questions for Commissioner Martin?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say it could be a great opportunity. I wish we had thought about this for the ACCG, summer intern, or if we had some part-time help,
Right. I guess my only question, are there any, and I know, Matt, you had an intern, I think it was last year, the year before. Is there a possibility of having another intern that was interested in getting a degree in Parks and Recreation to help out with a project like this?
I can reach out to the local colleges. That guy came from Georgia College.
Okay.
He actually he had to do it to finish up his degree. I can reach out and see.
Right, because I don't know what money was allocated for it, but I mean, if we can get an intern that needs to get some hours, and I think it'd be a great opportunity for them to kind of oversee a gym, get some experience, and it only helps out with our kids over the summer. So,
yeah.
How many hours are you paying somebody now to? I mean, if we're talking 50 or 60 hours, we got to have somebody there.
We're funded right now 29 hours a week.
So for 3 months, that's approximately what, maybe?
So I did the math. If we opened at 8 o'clock and we kept it open till the hours that we are open right now, it would be an additional $1,600 per month per employee.
So how many employees? You have 2 employees or just one employee?
That would really depend on. We would have to dig into the details of calling it a summer camp. So if we call it a summer camp, then we have to go back and abide by state laws and regulations as far as how many participants per supervisor. If it's just an open public gymnasium, they come and go at will, then you don't have to abide by them. So it's all about how we're going to label it and how we're going to operate it.
And just asking the question, is it too late? I know we looked at it a couple of years ago. We had a feeder program. I mean, the kids could come up there and eat lunch, or I think could get I think it was pretty much free, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we have a place out of Macon, an outreach out of Macon that we can contact to do
Okay.
Or food purchase, so.
'Cause-
It's not a purchase, a food provider, so.
Right, because I know that a lot of kids during the summer months, they miss out on breakfast and lunch just because school is not open. And I mean, if we could do something to help out those kids, I want to do whatever we can to try to help the kids, knowing that they can stop by, for breakfast and or lunch if we can't provide that service. Because I mean, I'd love for us to do it in Gray, because I want to say some of the schools that looked at it one time, but they just were not able to, I guess, get the staff in place to make it happen.
This be opportunity to give them opportunity to research more as far as what's exactly is going to be needed and check into the food program too.
Please.
And come back to us at a later date.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Moving on, Commissioner Martin, your internet service for Mattie Wells Community Center.
Mr. Chair, I've been talking about this for about a year, since the gym is open, really, to offer the same level of internet service that we have here at Highway 18. Not Highway 18, but at the Government Center. I'd even be willing to donate 5, laptops or tablets so that program down there can have, some technology and access. So just equitable access. We got it up here. Let's put it down there, give kids something to do when they're not on the court, because we do know that there's one court down there and they're exchanging. That gives us another opportunity when we do host programs or events down there. We have the connectivity to do that. Which again, I think it's of value. And in this particular environment, we don't come up to Gray per se for the library, but if you pull into that parking lot, you got access to the Wi-Fi because we do broadcast, and I think it gives kids an opportunity to, continue to do their work. And if there is a summer program, we can leverage those resources to, again, when I taught in Bibb County, we always had access to USA Test Prep. We had access to RAS reading and things of that nature. And I don't know what Jones County does in terms of outside activity for continuous learning. But that's, again, an opportunity to afford kids that opportunity to, again, have access.
Any questions for Commissioner Martin?
Jason, did we get our access issue resolved?
Back here.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've talked to Will about it, and I think he's established parental controls and that kind of thing on the computers back here.
We had some issues. Okay.
And so I think that has been sorted out.
As long as we can have those controls throughout.
Do we have internet service in place now at that gym?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I guess that'd be get with Will to see what it's going to take to and get back with us on that. Give us an idea what we're looking at on that. Okay. All right, going forward. Road repair and resurfacing Gateway, Bethune, Coral Way, and Horseshoe. Mr. Martin, this is another request from your.
So, Mr. Chair, I do have a few of those spots in those roads, and I would encourage them to go out and take a look. I don't know where our roads list is, and I know Sam and I, mentioned up here resurfacing versus, full scale reclamation. And when dollars come available, I just want to make us aware that here are some roads that need some significant attention. Gateway itself, was challenged. I think John may have been out there or not. Small segments of Bethune and definitely Coral Way, at least the Jones County section. And I know we're going to do a sewer project over there, so that may need to wait, but I just want to make us aware of that. And Horseshoe, if you've never been on Horseshoe on the Jones County side, it's a pretty rough road. I think I remember even seeing something growing between the roads. So, or at least I could see dirt. So I just want to make sure we're aware of that, put it on the list when it comes available. And if we have a patch pothole crew that's moving around now, have them take a look.
Okay. John, if you'll take a look at that, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any more discussion or comments on that? Going forward, we got number 7 on the agenda, rubber long jump mat for runway sand and rakes, and then we also have another agenda item on flexible training bar for high jump. I took the opportunity, Commissioner Martin, to talk to Chuck Gibson. He appreciated us, I mentioned this, but he said that the school board had they were in the process of doing improvements on multiple athletic departments in their school board, and the track coaches were aware of the issues when we're looking at that. he did say in the future, if there's anything the county and Board of Education could partner on, he'd love to have that opportunity to partner on it, but they had funds, they had their athletic budget, and the track coaches were aware of the need.
Great.
Unless you've got something else you'd like to mention on that?
Well, I'm curious about the timing because our rec program practices there, and we've had a few kids get hurt going down the pad a little bit, missed the edge of it because long jump runways have two boards. They have a toe board and they also have a little foul strip in front of it. But there's also the triple jump board. And what they did was they dug it up and poured straight concrete, which you've seen. So it doesn't actually give your runner, a target and a landing point to jump off of. And to plan on solid concrete, it's just not a good idea. So I don't know the timing. Rec has started. The track program has already been running. So if we had a date, that'd be fantastic. If we don't, I know we spend money building mounds and things of that nature in other parks. The rubber mat and maybe even putting 2 toe boards down would be great. They left the high jump bar out once for us, but the rest of the time we don't have access to it. So we can't teach our kids how to do the high jump. And that's part of the problem. It's a Board of Ed, so we really don't physically have access to their stuff.
Right.
So we don't physically have a high jump bar that we can use.
Right.
It's kind of like having a soccer net. And I don't know if the soccer program buys their own nets or Parks and Rec pays for the goal part.
Sure.
So.
Commissioner Robinson, you want to?
Mr. Chairman, I just think it might be productive for Commissioner Martin and the recreation track team to meet with the Board of Education about this.
That's what I was getting ready to say. They welcome, if you had any comments, they would be glad to get with you and tell you what their plans are and whatnot at their board. But Mr. Gibson, assured me that they were addressing these issues.
Fair enough. I would ask for a flexible bar for us though, because that would be independent of the Board of Ed. Because that's something that we have to have.
Maybe you can get with the Board of Ed and they'll work with you on that bar.
He's never left it out there.
I don't know about that, but I can't speak on the board.
Fair enough.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to number 9, we got approval of beer and wine license for Mary Kay Moore, Town Creek Food Shop, and Gas, 3061 Upper River Road.
That's me. I'm Mary Kathy Moore. I own the convenience store out there, and I've had the business and I've had it shut down for a little while and just want to reopen. So I need proof of my license, I hope. Consumption and package to go, please. I've always had both, and it didn't state that, so I wasn't sure.
Attorney Childs, don't see any problem with that. Okay, you've heard the recommended Attorney Childs. He sees no problem. I need a motion.
I'll make motion, Chairman.
Second.
District.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who was the second?
Dayline.
Dayline.
Okay, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
We move on to 10. We got a award bid for Jones County Library renovations. Mr. Will Stafford, I understand you're going to present this?
Yes, sir.
You got your helper with you?
I got my help with me, straight from Bound Lady practice. How are y'all doing tonight?
Not gonna help you tonight?
No, she's gonna play on my phone for a little bit. If that's okay. Well, thank you for having me this evening. We were thrilled to have.
Invited your helper up. She looked at me like,
oh, you want to come up?
Come on.
Okay. She said she wanted to help. Thank you. You want to tell them your name?
I'm Anna Lynn.
Anna Lynn.
All right.
Welcome. Thank you. Good job.
Whatever she wants.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And she's not the only one to have 3 younger daughters too.
Oh man!
Wow.
God bless you.
You're pretty like your mama, right?
Absolutely, yes. We're thankful for that. Well, thank you for having us tonight. We're very pleased to have a good turnout for our bidding for the library renovations. In addition, 9 contractors came and bid it. So it just shows the buy-in to this community and what everyone is excited about this project moving forward. On February the 20th, we did hold the bids at the library, soon not to be the boardroom anymore. It will become the children's area, but for now it is the boardroom. And we met again with the library board about a week after that, after considering the bids, looking through the bonding and insurance for our apparent low bidder. And it was our recommendation at that time to award the contract to Stafford Builders Consultants from Macon. We recommended award the base bid as well as a few alternates that we had done because of making sure that the pricing would come in as necessary to make it work within the funding. We feel that we're well within that, and that we would recommend that we would award the total base proposal alternates 1, 2, and 3 for your consideration.
Any questions for Mr. Stafford?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I just say I'm pleased to see this many bids and some good competition here. And I've actually worked with 7 of the 9, so we can't go wrong with Stafford. I've done several projects with them. They're a great company.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Appling,
Yes.
would you stand, please? Ms. Appling is the chairperson of the library board. She has been present during all of the hard work that's been put in to accomplish this goal, and I'd like for us to give her a hand.
Thank you very much, Ms. Appling. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your help, young lady. You did a good job. All right, number 11 on our new business is award bid for roadside herbicide spraying. I think this is your, Mr. Risner.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'll start off, and if John has anything to add, I'd be happy for him to do that. We, as you may recall, over the past several years, we've done some roadside herbicide spraying to cut down on the amount of mowing that we have to do. So we went through recently, and we budgeted $20,000 this year for spraying, and that includes multiple applications. There's a summer application, and then there's a kind of a late winter, early spring application, and there's a summer application on paved roads, and then on dirt roads there's a single application, and so we bid that out, shooting for the $20,000 that we had budgeted. You have the bids there in your packet. 2 of them came in exactly the same, which was kind of unusual. We had them bid it, give us 2 different prices: one price per mile on the paved roads, a price per acre on the dirt road spraying. And let me get to the. So we got 4 bids. We actually had 2 other bids that came in, but that were late. So we had a total of 6 bidders. So we were pleased with that. So I took the rates, the sort of unit cost, I guess you might say, that they included in their bids. I multiplied them by the number of miles that we had specified in the bid documents that we planned to do. And so you'll see there on page 20 in your packet, in the far right-hand column, when you do all that math, Kimpro comes out to be the low bidder. Their rates were $79 per mile for the late winter and summer applications. On the brush spray on dirt roads, their rate was $105 per acre. And so the total cost there comes to $22,085. And so our recommendation would be to award the bid to Kimpro at the rate specified in their bid documents.
Any questions for Mr. Risner?
We find the other 2085 in John's budget.
Yes, I think we can.
So moved then, Chairman.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All right. Got those. No more discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Award bid for probation officer roof. Mr. Risner, I think this is you again.
Can't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Sorry.
Were you being a math teacher on?
No, I'm the bargain shopper, so I was wondering, could we have taken
1 and 1?
Yeah, let's break it up, get the 55 on the other one and the 1 on. I was just asking. Next
I
time.
thought you were doing math.
Oh no, he's pretty good.
Okay. Mr. Rizzo, you got the probation roof.
Yes, sir. The next item there was the bid on the replacement of the probation office roof. Didn't have as good of a response on this. We had the one bid that was received by the deadline. We did have one additional bid that came in late. So the one bid that we received was $13,560 from Skyline Construction Services out of Edenton. We've checked their references. They have very strong references, and it's our recommendation that we go ahead and or that the board consider awarding the bid to Skyline Construction Services in the amount of $13,560.
Any questions or discussion?
Yes. How large is this roof?
It's a triple wide
trailer.
But it's bitumen. You know what bitumen is?
Not a clue, but
you put it down with a torch.
Put it down with a torch. So roll down, torch down.
Roll down, torch down. That's correct. So it's in Skyline's a big outfit, and it's, you know, I don't mind telling you, I'm always leery when we have to put torch down.
Right. I've done that, not personally, but I've contracted that out. So how big is the roof again? What's the triple wide?
I think I measured
40 by 70 maybe.
All right,
40
so
by 80.
2,800 square foot. 40 by 70. All right.
40 by 80, 32.
Okay. 40 by 80. Sorry.
He forgot his math teachings.
All right. So
I'll give him bad numbers to
You
multiply by.
do. How much come up a square?
So it's about 40, depending on how we do this. So it's about 40 to 50 a square. Is that about right?
50 a square?
Yeah. Well, not per square. I'm square footage. I don't.
No, I'm looking at a square being 100 square foot. So you're 32 divided by the 13,000 will give you your per. They generally do it on the square.
Gotcha. So we're about 400 and some change a square. Is that normal? I'm asking.
I know bitumen is expensive and it's risky. I mean, it's not easy. It's not your normal roof.
Okay.
I wish Bob was here. It's got, I presume it's got torch down on it now?
I'm not sure what's on it now. I'd have to ask him.
424 square.
Yeah, I don't know what a going square rate is. I'm just trying to think the last one we done was.
Anybody out there know? I'm just curious. Is that about right? No, anybody knows? Is that high? Does that seem high? Mr. Chair, I'm just curious.
I haven't done much bitumen. It's generally on small areas when we do it.
Yeah, I did 10,000 square feet and it ran me about 38 grand over at the school on Millerfield Road. So it's about 380. So we're about 40, I guess, or so high. And I'm just curious. I didn't know. But it was 3 times.
To rebid it or accept this bid.
Looks like you sent, if I'm looking at this right, Jason, you sent invitations to bid to about 35 companies?
It's amazing.
That's
only got
It's
one
on the back of the page there.
It's on the back.
That one that you
Well,
got.
not a whole lot of people do the torch down. I mean, there's a tremendous liability in it because it can go wrong and it can be actually a torch down.
Oh yeah, and then you got alternatives. There's the cellulose, there's the wrap, there's all that. It's almost like the roof that we did on the gym as well. I mean, that's a concept that we could have used. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
You got any budget?
Is they gonna save some money? No, I'm just listening to Commissioner Martin, the proposal that he made. Was it just best it would go this roof that's already proposed?
Are we just replacing what's there, or did we have somebody look at it and recommended a type of roof for it?
I don't know that we had anybody look at it other than building maintenance. I think we've done several roofs in recent years with this kind of process, and I think the water department was one. We did some at the courthouse in the last year or so using this method, and I think building maintenance has had pretty good success with these and with them not having leaks and that kind of thing after they're installed.
So this is what they recommended then?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Torch down is also used if you don't have a very high pitch on a roof. Is another option also. The reason they do it. It's like a swimming pool liner at one point. Any more discussion?
Hey, you're the construction guy. I would put shingles on it. It seemed like it'd be cheaper.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna have the pitch to carry it.
All right, fair enough.
Motion to approve.
A motion?
Second.
Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. replace sign truck for public works. Mr. Lowe, I think this is your request.
May I revisit that? Was that all, everybody voted?
Yes.
For that?
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, y'all. Yeah, our sign truck, last 2 years, we've spent right at $17,000 replacing stuff on it. I mean, it's an old truck. And right now, the back brakes don't work. We've sent it down to Thomas and he's worked on it, can't fix it. I want to replace it with a new one. And it'll be paid out of the 209 splosh that we got.
Question, you gonna reuse your body or you? Gonna,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
we
just looking
did.
at cab and chassis.
We just get cab and chassis, single. I mean, it's no crew cab or nothing like that.
Send it to Thomas. Who is that?
He's the one that's got the place down there across from where Ollie's used to be.
That's Richard. Yeah.
Yeah, Richard.
But,
Do you have any estimates on what it would cost?
well, I got a gasoline truck, which is a 4,500. It's like 36,500. If we go with a diesel, you're looking at 46,500.
How about, you going through the contractor or you actually getting quotes?
Well, we just got a price from, I think it was 5 Star.
State contract should, you should
Well-
pick up that.
And I think
Right.
John and I talked about going out for bid and also checking against the state contract to see what we could get there.
What do you have now, gas or diesel?
It's diesel. But it's a 3,500. And I want to go a little bit bigger truck. Cause that thing has a lot of weight on it.
And we could bid it both ways if y'all wanted to, gas and diesel. And,
Yeah.
make a decision after we get the price.
You store diesel at your site though, that you could, or do you have to go fill up the diesel too?
No, we got diesel there.
Okay. That's gonna be a cost savings.
All right. I need a motion to allow him to go out for bid on it.
Yeah, in 2 more years, he could have bought a new one at the rate he's spending to work on it. So.
You got that right.
Second.
So moved. Oh,
Dayline's made it. That's
Second, it's all right.
Okay, motion, all right, we got,
Dayline made the motion. I
made a
second.
motion, Jonathan second. Any more discussion?
Is the old one going on the surplus list?
Yes.
Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Like I said, y'all, don't we have some surplus equipment we start looking at in the near future?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're putting together a good list. I've
Yeah.
got stuff from John and Jeffrey's got some materials on the agenda tonight. So
Just curiosity, I mean, this department, I mean, the sheriff doesn't he have a sale every year? Since we've already got a good exposure with the sheriff?
I think we usually use Benton Auctions. I think usually conducts the auctions. And actually, speaking of the sheriff, they just turned in 4 cars that 3 of them will probably want to auction. The other one I hadn't looked at yet, but so that might be some other vehicles to potentially go into an auction.
It's just a thought. I know the sheriff from time to time has auction on seized properties and stuff, and I mean, they get a good
Good time.
audience on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought if he had that going, we might incorporate this in one large auction
Mm-hmm.
since he already had the exposure.
Yeah.
And might have an opportunity to do even better that way. Just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
All right, appreciate it, John.
Mr. Chair, before you move on, would it be possible to, once they build that list, to share that among the departments? Because we figured out that some departments had stuff that other departments needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love that they could pass it along. I don't know what other department could use a sign truck, but what other stuff that they have available.
I don't think they want this truck.
Yeah, but it's a great idea to share your surplus equipment that you're getting ready to sell, just in case one of the other departments have, hey, I can use that. And
Jason, can you distribute that to the other department heads and see if there's anything on that list that they might could use?
Yeah, I sure will. And what I'd like to do is bring it before this board for y'all to vote and formally declare the property surplus before we dispose of it. So,
all right, thank you,
assuming it can't be used by another department.
Thank you, John.
All right.
Approve sale of surplus inventory at Water Department. Pelkey?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, for the past several months, we've been working through our inventory, things that we've collected over the past several years, with projects, leftover inventory. Worked with the Ferguson, that's one of our major suppliers, and actually they were able to take back quite a bit of it. Actually, as of today, it was $14,865 that we've returned back into the revenue stream. That's with the excess inventory and the scrapping of old metal fittings and things like that. This list here before you is a little older. Ferguson Waterworks could not take it back due to the more of the cosmetic look of it. It's been sitting outside, obviously has a little of a weathered look to it, but structurally the inventory is fine. And working with Jason and I believe with the guidance of Mr. Childs, that maybe the proper way to for us to receive funds from this is to actually put it out to bid. And that's what I'm asking approval for, just so we can put this out to bid and see what we can get for it.
And I know you thought this through. The question I have, I mean, none of this you'll be needing down the road.
No, we pulled stuff aside, but most of this we have plenty of, and it's just what's doing. It's I don't want it to get any more weather than it is, and I'm not going to get anything out of it if I don't. So,
any questions for Mr. Pelkey?
And my question would be over to Matt. Is there any use at the golf course for any sorts of plumbing or irrigation type equipment that this might be useful for?
I'd have to get with Jeffrey and look at exactly what he's got. I don't know what he's got.
Yeah, I'll be glad to have him look at it.
Any other questions or discussion? If none, we need a motion to approve to go out to bid to sell surplus. We have a motion.
Second.
Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. I do want to ask Jeff while he's here, moving on to another topic. I had an opportunity to visit a company called Chem Aqua, and I think they visit different municipalities to make sure everything's working efficiently. Have we ever had them, do we have anybody or somebody like that take a look at our equipment just to make sure that everything's...
Yes, actually, I think the gentleman that runs the Haddock uses Chem Aqua.
Okay.
And so we do use them there, but anywhere else in the county, I don't, but I mean, I'd be glad to take a look at it.
Right, it's just I had a chance to tour the operation, and he was telling about some of the things that they do, and I thought about us, being that we could they look at other municipalities, other agencies to see how they can do things better, more efficiently. So I wouldn't mind if they didn't give us a free audit to come in and look at things and see if they can make some recommendations for us to continue to enhance our program. So, Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pecker, are you doing the old business on cost estimate, or is that Mr. Ingram?
Yes, I'll do that, and I think Tim is going to help me on that one also.
All right. Moving forward, since we've got Mr. Pelkey up here, the next is the old business. It's cost estimate, additional well at Masseyville and Henderson.
Yes. As you know, that from this previous times that I've been up here, the importance of the Henderson plant and the Masseyville plant. Just to give you an update on Masseyville is well underway. The demolition has taken place, and we're excited to see that happening. I've been working with Tim and on some of my goals and my concerns, and Henderson plant is definitely one of them, being the avenue of which this water plant supplies City Gray. I call it the Henderson Vitentide corridor. It's extremely important. The plant, even at this time of the year, can run about 15, 16 hours. There's a lot of demand on that plant. So you can imagine in the summertime, you're running almost 24 hours, and that is not good for your aquifers. The aquifers need time to replenish, and during the summertime, it doesn't have that proper time. So I asked him if we can sit down, share with you our hearts, some numbers on how we can improve this plant, the importance of this plant. And so Tim, you got.
In your package, the yellow heading is cost estimate. What we did, we went through the Henderson Water Plant last Friday. We just looked at everything they had, chemicals, feed equipment, the clear well, aerator, high service pumps. You may or may know, several years ago, we did a test well in the industrial park.
Tim, you're referring to your handouts and
Yes,
stuff.
ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
One in your packet, and I gave y'all one as well. With the cost estimate with the yellow heating on it.
Okay.
It should be the same as what's in.
We're talking about in the head.
So it's the one that has on the front Henderson Water Treatment Plant.
Yes.
Because the other one has Second Well and Masseyville.
Several years ago, we went into the industrial park and drilled a test well across the creek from well 9 back up towards the railroad track. And based off what we found in the test well, Greens and another company, San Martin Well Building, helped us with pricing on what it would cost to go in there and develop a well, casing. We added some piping to tie back into what we have. And most of that is items 1 through about 16 or 17. We went through item 17. You have some existing flow meters at Henderson. There are 3 wells at Henderson now. They're not installed properly. Some of them have some age on them. They haven't been checked in years. Part of the water haul that we do every year for the county, we have to tell them how often we check them. We have them checked, calibrated every year. And that measures how much water we're actually pumping and putting into the system. So if we're wrong at the beginning, we're certainly going to be wrong at the end. It just compounds there. So we budgeted for new flow meters for well 6, 7, and 8 that's at Henderson. Went ahead and budgeted for a generator for this new well. Item 19, we budgeted for changing the 2 pumps that are there. We would continue to use the existing 100 horsepower motor and the starter, but we would upsize the pump to maximize the 100 horsepower, which is going to be around 900 gallons a minute. That way we don't get into the electrical, we don't get into the generator. We leave that as is. Item 20 is a future item. That would be a new vertical turbine that would do 1,000 gallons a minute, 125 horsepower motor and a starter. 21 is a new aeration tower. In Jones County, we aerate to drive CO2, carbon dioxide off and help oxidize the iron. The aerator we have now will not handle 1,000 gallons a minute. And then new doors and frames, because most of the doors, exterior doors that are exposed to the chemicals are eaten away. There's 3 or 4 inches on every one of them that's gone and it's a struggle to show. So you're looking at about, for that, contingencies, engineering, you're looking at a cost to drill the well, about $681,000. About half of that is the actual well. The rest of it is work we need to do to get Henderson ready. The second cost estimate we gave you is for the Masseyville Water Treatment Plant. It's to drill a second well at Masseyville.
Mr. Chair, before he goes a little further, I got to ask a quick question. If we dug 2 or drilled 2 at Henderson, do we get any cost savings?
No, and this is the problem we run into. Henderson has about 30,000 gallons in the clear, 31,000 gallons. Okay, 1,000 gallons a minute. I have 30 minutes of contact time.
Okay.
I'm required to have at least 15 to 20 to take care of the log or virus removal. So if I get I get much more than 1,000, I've got to expand the clear well.
Gotcha.
That's $250,000 right there.
Okay.
And it may run 290. So, you know, there are 2 test wells down Henderson Road that we drilled a few years ago. They were about 500 gallons a minute apiece. It'd be great to have those tied to the system, but you probably just as well build another plant. By the time you start, you did basically have to gut Henderson, tear out all the electrical, all new pumps, all new chemical. And honestly, we can't live without it.
Yeah, and I was asking because we obviously know that we have a potential partner coming to town and other interests. 1,000 gallons, I don't know what additional capacity that gets us, but
1.4 million. Well, the plant does about 900,000 gallons a day. If we push it to 1,000, we'll get about 1.4.
Right.
So we'll get about 500,000 gallons a day out of it.
Okay.
What's unique about Henderson, as Tim was saying, it does have 3 wells, but well 6 only pumps 40 gallons a minute. So it's basically almost like a residential well. So the bulk of all this coming out of that plant is on those 2 wells, 7 and 9, with the help of the 4 to 9 booster station, which takes it out of the Joy Cliff tank. Those are the only avenues that we have going to the city of Gray. That's what concerns me about that plant. You hear, well, 3 wells, but really you got 2 full wells and maybe a quarter of another. Yeah, that's a lot of demand on those 2 wells, and
that's why I asked about drilling 2 while you were there.
Yeah, being south of the fault line, those wells are about 125, 130 feet deep.
Okay.
Stainless steel screens in them. We seem to have good capacity at about 350 gallons a minute. We went further southeast of the site, drilled 2. They're about 40, 50 gallons a minute. Just like they were probably 1,000 feet down from number 6. The other 2 that we had such good luck with, they're probably, they may be 4,000 feet, they may be close to a mile. And when we got there, the quality of sand and the quantity of sand, which is what the water comes from, completely changed, night and day.
Okay.
So, the second, one other thing I wanted to point out to you, in that package, you should have drawings on the back of it. A couple maps. The top map, water production, is water production priorities. This is a variation off of the map we presented last year at the workshop. I think it was in March or May. Masseyville's the first one. It's under construction. Town Creek, we have done some work on. We got a little bit more to do. Y'all have authorized light and tie. Y'all have authorized to complete meter change out. That's out for bid. Henderson is what we're talking about tonight. The second well for Masseyville. Grizzleville, I'm not sure when it was built. I think 60, 61, 62, somewhere in there. There are a number of issues there. Florida, we have some electrical problems inside the building. Gray Highway Booster Pump Station, which is what we need to finish off the Gray Highway project. And then something that's been talked about numerous times, an elevated tank out Highway 11. Because basically that is just fed by gravity out of the city of Gray. I think pressure out there runs 30, 35, 40 pounds. The second map, is this something that Commissioner Kitchens asked about, is water distribution priorities. One is the Graham Road area. 2 is the Highway 49 area that we've talked about. 3 is that Highway 18 from Camelot to Dames Ferry. 4 Huckabee. 5 is an elevated tank somewhere over in what I call the Central Baptist Church area, somewhere up in there. 6 is the Grizzle Mill Road from the Grizzle Mill plant to Henderson Road, which where those would actually be tied together. The only place they're really tied together now that we can move water is at from 49 in the existing 8-inch line. So just a map. These are, I know these priorities, some of these have been around since 2013. But that's just some information for y'all to talk about. The other item is the second well at Masseyville. As y'all know, we're under construction. Demolition is about done, probably done this week. And we're gonna go back in with 1,000 gallon per minute filter. For this well, we're looking at about 500 gallons a minute. We need some grading work to be done there in the curve on the existing lot the county owns. We would drill a well that would probably run 100, 135 feet deep, 150 foot deep. We're trying to have for a 500 gallon per minute well there to match what we have. Piping, everything down through item 18 is associated with the well. The water main over to the site, over to the Masseyville plant. Item 19, in the Masseyville project, we're replacing the high service pumps. So we went back to 500 gallons a minute. So we would match the well we have now. They have not been ordered. They have not been approved. So if we need to make a change, now is the time to make a change. It might not cost us any money. It might cost us some. But now's the time we need to make a change. Item 20 is the aeration tower. We were not replacing the aerator that was there because it was sufficient for what we had. Again, if we're gonna add a well, now's the time to change the aeration tower. And then a generator for this would be well number 11, and then a SCADA panel, which would control operation, day-to-day operation. You're looking at about $620,000 there. Questions?
And Masseyville was what priority on the distribution side? That was.
It was on the water production.
Yes.
We had second well was number 6.
6, I think was, yeah.
The first 4 we're actively engaged on.
Right.
Yeah.
What would be your recommendation on going to the 1,000 gallon per minute higher efficiency pump or higher efficiency? Is it something?
Let me look right here a minute. I'll pull this out and run it with me because I wanted to.
And I guess just to clear, you're saying if we, right now, we don't need the 1,000 gallon per minute aeration tower, but if we go to a higher pump, we will.
If I go to another well and have a second well there, I will.
Because I was looking at the offset of that would actually save us a little money for going to a higher pump without that aeration tower, but if we're gonna need it for that, we're still.
Yeah, I tried to give you a worst case on all of it. When we did the last, UFA report, we went through the water system. The peak demand that we see, based off some EPD standards and what we actually see, for the county customers, we see about 2,250 gallons a minute peak demand. That's anytime, typically it's 6 in the morning to about 10 o'clock, then it's around 11 to 2, and then about 5:30 to 6 to about 10. Everybody's home, taking showers, doing various things, washing clothes. When you add the city of Gray into it, you're looking at about 2,670 gallons a minute. Jones County can produce 1,900. with Masseyville online, we can produce 1,900. So we're 770 gallons a minute, which is about 1.1 million gallons a day shy of what we need.
With the projects we've got going now and the funds that we've got tied up in those, what is the recommendation of you and Jeffrey on what to do next and where the money comes from?
I have, I think production, I think we need the other 1,000 gallons a minute production.
Yeah.
So we can cover everything we've got obligated now and have some breathing room. They'd give us 1,000 at Henderson, 1,000 at Masseyville, 250 at Largo, and 500 at Grizzleville. And granted, Grizzleville's 55, 57 years old.
And we get that 1,000 gallons how?
Masseyville and Henderson.
What do we need to do?
Well,
I'm just asking you to tell us, what to do.
To do both projects, we need about $1.3 million.
And where could we get the money from?
Either it'll take us about 2 years to save it, maybe 2.5, or either you go to GFAS, or, I don't know if you want to try to float a bond. I think GFAS is your cheapest money out there, because it's going to be about 2.2 or 2.3%.
And how long would it take the application process?
It's by the time we put a report together and submit it, it'll take about a month, and then it'll take 4 to 5 months to go through the environmental and review.
Could we handle the payback?
With the rate, with this condition the War Department's in right now, without any problem. But, and that's what gives me heartburn about telling you to go borrow money. We've got, between the two of us, we put together a list of projects. There are 18 projects. Henderson, Masseyville, the Light and Tie, Gray Highway Booster Pump Station. That's a $350,000 project by itself. You've got 2 pretty serious sewer needs over in River North that haven't been addressed. I was told today about a third. Those are priced probably $150,000 just to handle the sewer issues. So I don't want the county needs the money. We need the production. There's no question about it. But I know I bet there's another $2 million worth of work that needs to be done.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there is, or more. And what I'm looking for is to sort of simplify it by y'all telling us what we've got to do next.
I would tell you next, we need to get Henderson up to 1,000 gallons a minute, and we need to get Masseyville to 1,000.
And those are the key plants.
Do you agree?
Oh yeah, Light and Tie, and definitely, because knowing that the wells in the city are starting to back off from their process that they have encountered, that just really heightened to me when I heard that the need that we've got to get ready for this.
And Light and Tie has been approved.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And with the projects we've got and the funds we've got tied up, you recommend that
I don't like to do this, but you need to go borrow some money and do these 2 projects, because it'll be September.
And how much do you estimate?
You're looking at 1.3 million. Yeah, the 2 of them together, it may be 1.4.
You said that, save the money in 2 years, so what do you anticipate return on our investment on this project? We're talking about how long?
You're not, because you're production.
If you're not distributing, you're not gonna get
production.
Picking up any new customers, you're just making sure everybody.
I guess I'm saying.
That's
You said
not
saving, so, I'm just asking, I heard it take 2 years to save that up, but.
That's not correct. last year we didn't have a rough year, so we didn't go to Town Creek. It's not uncommon for the water department to pay Macon Water Authority $75,000 a summer, sometimes $100 to buy water.
Sure.
The $100,000 is 58.6 per million. So you're looking at $87,000, $88,000 a year in debt service. A hot, dry summer, I'll pay the note. We don't have to turn on Town Creek.
And I guess I say return on my investment. I'm looking about, you know, a note of this size, how long are we looking at having a note of this size?
These are typically 20 years.
Right.
They can be paid off in advance.
Yes, and they can be paid with SPOS if we tell them up front. If you end up, if you want to do that, you can pay them off.
Just for the record, we've been paying this off and on anyways. So, you know, it behooves us to get out of the business of paying Macon Water Authority and ensuring our own resilience to drought, et cetera. It's a no-brainer for me. I mean, I'm on a well, and I know this water's going to gray, but y'all need to do it. The can has been being kicked down the street for a long time. These are the same priorities that I think they showed us when we first came in office.
One thing I want to make sure you realize, we take Masseyville to 1,000. We bumped Henderson to 1,000, so we've added 340 gallons a minute over here. We've added 840 gallons a minute capacity. We're just about break even with what we need during the summer.
Right.
We're actually playing catch up is what we're doing.
Right, and that's why I asked about the other well, because I know we're behind. Guys, I just did a rough addition over here. It's $24 million in projects. That was rough on this page here, the one you have with all the other projects.
All those priorities, yeah.
Jonathan will be around maybe when they finish.
Okay.
We're a little bit ahead. I'm just saying, so we have to start somewhere and start knocking some of these off, and production is a no-brainer. I'm okay with asking the tough question of going to ask for the money, and I'm going to ask our local lenders to consider being partners in this with us. Look at what they can do to be competitive. This is not something you make a tremendous amount of money on, but you do the right thing, because I guarantee you, if the water goes off at those wells, it goes off at the bank.
It does, and I don't. What's a non-tax interest rate? 3.5, 3.9.
We're going to ask for something better if possible. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That affects every retail and house up this way, guys. I mean, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve. I'm going out for funding for these two projects. 1.3 million, is that what I heard? Thereabouts?
1.3, 1.42.
Yeah, let's see. I did 681 and 620, so that's 1.3, 1.31, 1.33.
I'm gonna one up you.
Sure.
I agree that priority is production of it. But I also think if we don't start distributing some water, I mean, we've got a list of, I know Graham Road, I know 49, these people have been talking about it for 7 to 10 years that we're going to get water, If we're tying our money up for 10 to 20 years on producing water just to get caught up, we're not serving our customers that are looking for water. We know we've got a lot of issues in the Graham Road area as far as the water that's actually coming out of the well. Those people don't have options. You know, when their wells are going out left and right, they don't have options to tie on or dig another well because they got the same problem. So if we're gonna, I would like to see and I know we've done some, and I don't want to keep having meetings on it, but we've done some work sessions and looked at it, but I'd like to see a priority list of production and distribution, and then figure out what we need to go ask for. I don't like borrowing money at all, but if we're going to borrow it, it needs to be for infrastructure, not for wants. These are true needs that that I think will pay for themselves. We've set a goal to be more efficient in the water department, and I think we're doing that. We've set a goal to close loopholes in processes that gain us more money. We've paid off a couple of sinking funds. You know, if we're producing more water at a better rate than we're buying it from the water authority, and then we're turning around and selling what we're producing, you know, we should have revenue to pay a debt service. And then, you know, if a future SPOS comes along that we can pay down debt on, then we're better off in the game than borrowing a little and piecemealing it now.
I'm happy you brought that up, because I was doing the math on it. It's roughly 8.8 million to add those two projects, Graham Road and 49, of course. That adds almost 600 customers thereabout, and even at a $30 a month, that's close to $1,800 a month times 12. So we'll get close to 192,000 and some change, which is enough to service close to that debt plus the additional revenue stream.
You say 600 customers?
Yeah, I added 240 plus 297. I said roughly, so 537 to be exact. I was rounding up. I was being hopeful. So, Mr. Chair, I would amend my previous motion to include the Graham Road expansion, Highway 49.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
What was the full motion again? What are we doing?
It was the Masseyville Henderson was the original. Then I added the customers, which was Graham Road and 49.
Right. And our motion is to get the numbers, come back, find out what it's going to cost, what we can get loaned, and what our payback and all of that.
Right. And if our lenders are listening, they know what we need. Unsolicited bid is acceptable in the state of Georgia.
We need a work session next time.
When we come back with these numbers, yes, we'll have to have a work session on that point. Ms. Kitchen, are you making a second on that thing? Okay, any more discussion?
So like I said, we're only looking at numbers right now.
That's right. And I'll tell you.
All right.
I'll tell anybody, I don't like borrowing money. That's, I've lived by that for a long time, but there are times we have to borrow money, and this is one of those times that we need to look long and hard and make sure we make the right decision. And because, I would sure hate to get caught and, it could cost us more down the road if we didn't. So
we thought long and hard on this list, and I guess being the plant operator, that the times that I had, I know the ins and outs, and I agree with Mr. Kitchens. There's got to be a balance, and that's what we're trying to find, that balance. Because I know coming up here, in terms of increasing production, and there's a cost to it, and not really much of a payback. And I know we got to sell that, but that's important, and it's important though that we got to have a balance, and I think we're trying to strike that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that Levita participate in this work session and has a list of all of our debt services, payout dates, and all that kind of good stuff too.
We're working on a cash flow, trying to see where we're at. From September through the end of February, it looks pretty good.
And Chairman, I will say we talked about this at service delivery too. I think it's that we should look at a holistic approach to it too. Not think it's just ours. Look at the whole. Are we talking about a utility service, so that we're looking at the needs of city and county. There's an opportunity. Is that something we want to do? Is it something we don't want to do? If we don't look at it, we may get down the road and say, man, we woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I think we need to.
If y'all will take the water distribution map that you have, we have ridden every road in the county and jotted down houses. The projects that have been talked about over the years, we have them prioritized. If you want to look at something else in the James area, or if you want to look up 18 or Cumslow, let us know, so we'll pull the numbers together.
Maybe beneficial to have it so that we make the best decision possible.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
quick question. So, just for clarification, so we want to go forward with the process of preliminary engineering on all four of these projects, and going forward and submitting the GFA application to see what sort of funding rates we could get, or?
It was, to my understanding, this is just my understanding that it was not. I think it was looking at numbers to find out what was going to cost, and then we'll make a decision after the work session as of.
Can we know GFA rates before, without submitting an application? Okay. And then we compare that to banks or whatever lending sources
we should better get everything we need numbers wise before we finally make the signature on it.
Okay.
So thank you. Mr. Pelkey, I'd like to thank you and your department. Y'all really turned this water department around. I'm very proud of y'all, and I mean that's everybody in your department, including you.
I appreciate it. Got a good team behind me, and thank Tim. He's put a lot of hours, and
we're still discussing that, right?
I appreciate that.
All right, that's through the discussion part. But all right, we've got a vote in the motion. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye. Aye. Ayes have it.
I got one question, Chairman, that's kind of related to it, but nothing to do with the vote. The meters that we approved and we're putting out, the meters that we have now, just from my wisdom, I guess, the guy still has to ride close to proximity with his checker to see what the meters are doing.
Yeah, actually, he's got a computer, so programmed in the computer, and he'll go down a certain route, and he just goes
He
on.
can pick them up from a distance. He doesn't have to go to the meter.
Yeah, he can turn the computer on at the office.
Can we ever get to a point where we can see from the SCADA panel in the water department water usage on a continuous basis? And the reason I ask that is I know it happened personally to me, but it's happened to other people, and I've gotten calls on it. And I know it's a waste for us when we see at the end of the month when they read the meter, wow, 1,000 gallons extra has gone through this meter, leaking somewhere between the meter and the house. Homeowner wouldn't know anything about it. Is there a way that we can, and we talked about how we could get to different levels of that, so that we can say, hey, you've got a leak somewhere. We know there's an opportunity for them to repair the leaks, but we also know that if even with one-time reduction of that bill, we've lost that water.
Right.
So
we
reduced it for nothing.
I sat down with the meter reader and actually we discussed something like this, and because he can tell, I mean, there's obviously he can notice the right away the increase in the amount of gallons used. He'll mark it on the sheet and he'll take it back to the office, and what we do that same day, we'll fill out a door knocker, we'll put it on the door saying that you have a really high reading. Take a look at your inside or around your home if you have a leak, and it kind of gives them an early indication that they may have an issue on their side. What's nice about the radio read meter is that you can do that. You can pull up a chart on that meter. It can show it hour by hour, even in the middle of the night, how much they're using. And we've helped many customers with that, showing them that they have an issue. Once they see that, they say, okay. And so that's one nice thing about the radio read meters. But in terms of trying to give an early indication, we just do it with the door knocker. As soon as he sees it, he can pick it up.
To do that, you got to be able to read them with a fixed base system, and you have to read them often, at least once a week, if not more than.
Right.
Yeah. Power company typically reads every day. Sometimes they get a response. You're almost to that point to be able to tell you that.
That's what I'm on, because when it happened to me, it was a major break right there at the meter. The meter's, I don't know, 1,000 feet from my house. I wouldn't see it unless, water's in the ditch or something. And that's exactly what happened. I got a call, hey,
right,
you're 50 times what you normally use. Yeah, and there's also a pond in my yard. So,
Commissioner Pitts, you have something else you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Well, we got department heads up next, and you're already there.
Okay, well, I just right here. I just want to thank you. I just appreciate all your support, and I feel like we're making some headway, and I really do appreciate it. And I really want to appreciate Tim, and he's put a lot of time and working with me, and trying to highlight some of the needs I feel in my heart that really need to be addressed, and I think we're doing it. I'm really excited about what's taking place. So I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Graham, it sure is good to see you sitting in that chair again.
Yes, sir. A little slow, but, and I don't want to be repetitious, but I do want to thank everybody, if I haven't already, thanking everybody. I'm back full-time, and they finally released me, but I'm not 100%, but all my tests are being negative, and I've got one more big test coming up in May, and if we're clear there, then they'll probably turn me loose, but I probably won't heal. You know, I had the 2 surgeries. After Mr. Tommy saw me that one day, he came by and I spiraled out of control from there, and I was there 10 days after that. But I feel like I've been gone forever. I didn't even know that Commissioner Martin had a beard, so I feel like that I'm out of touch.
It's only been like a week.
I didn't recognize but you know, I've been keeping up with the meetings at the house, and I just appreciate the support. I do want to say this, I've got one more meeting left with FEMA, and that's this Friday. We met today for about 4 hours with FEMA. We're looking at a 80,000 return. It's a little bit less than anticipated, but rules and regulations, federal laws have changed drastically since PAX, and that was in like 2012. So, but anyway, we are going to get a return on it, and we'll be entered in the portal Friday morning, and we should see something in the next couple of months. I'm gearing up for the next budget already. I just want to, you know, when Tim gets to talking all that money, it concerns me, but we do need water. The big expenditure that we're going to need this year, or in the next budget, is going to be our air packs, which we've been dreading for the last 5 years. So we're on our last stamp. We got to do something by the last day of September, and I've got several ideas that we can bring to the table. Maybe we not do them all at one time, but just do all the bottles, and then. But there's several things that we can do to make it right and keep in compliance. But thank you. I appreciate everybody's calls and cards and fruit, food, everything. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lowe?
I just have 2 things. I got 2 guys. One guy had open heart surgery. He hadn't come back to work yet, Greg Kidd. So y'all just keep him in the prayers. Emmett Mitchell, he went this past week and had some tests done, and I think he's got to be operated on. He got a spot on one of his lungs. So y'all just keep him.
Prayers, that definitely be out.
That's it.
Mr. Goins?
Yes, sir. I just got 2 things. One, I gave all y'all a flyer for the Easter event we're going to be doing at the celebration. So if you can keep that in mind, you'll see more about it coming out on the website and the Facebook page, and also the newspaper. Opening day is Saturday for Little League Baseball at Highway 18. 49 is still, they just got through doing their tryouts, and they're putting their team together now. They'll be getting started in a couple of weeks. I got the bands in. I've been using this one for about 3 or 4 days. I'm going to let the chairman run around town with this one for a little while and see what he thinks. He gets the pretty blue. I get the black.
Do you mind to see it, Matt?
I hope he's got a big armband.
Chris will wear it out.
But it tracks your steps, it tracks your calories, it tracks your sleep method. It can link it to your phone, so while you're jogging, if you get a text message, you can read it on the screen or tell you who called. So it's pretty good. It's not as fancy as some of the other ones that you can buy, but it's very inexpensive. Under 15 bucks. So it's very inexpensive. But so I've only had it, like I said, I've only had it for about 3 or 4 days. So we'll demo it for a couple weeks and see how durable it is and how it works and the heat and sweat and all that kind of stuff.
Commissioner Kitchen, if you put that on, it won't move.
We buy.
Yeah, I don't sleep, so I can just delete that part.
And we are, right now, we are out for bid, for, the interior sidewalks. And, one thing we're doing, me and Jason got with, and we're gonna have a, mandatory bid meeting so that everybody who bids on the, site on the interior walkways has to come, so we can make sure we get a true apples to apples comparison on the bid, so nobody can say that they didn't understand what they were bidding against versus someone else. So looking forward to that, to helping the, transitioning in and out of the park a lot easier for people. Other than that, thank you.
And one thing, Matt, do you mind giving the board an update on the inclusive playground and how we're looking with that?
Yes, me and John met with them yesterday morning, right? Yesterday morning, and we also signed the contract. I think it's close for chairman to sign. The product, we're waiting on their, we got their W-9 this afternoon. I don't know if Leslie had a chance to get it updated, but I emailed her their W-9 about 4 o'clock. So tomorrow we should be able to issue the PO, which means the equipment will be ordered tomorrow. I and John met with the installer. We got it laid out. Hopefully, in a week or two, John will be pushing dirt around, getting it ready for the installer to come down when the equipment comes in. And so we moving right along with the playground.
Good. Thank you.
Come to Sam, but on what move. Mr. Resner?
I don't think I have anything.
No. We're moving on. Mr. Robinson, you won't fall out of your seat if I let you go first now, will you?
No.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you again to Ms. Benita Appling and all of the library board, and our county administrator is a member of that board. And they have worked years and years and years trying to find a way to increase the size of that library, and they are finally making it happen. Thank you.
Mr. Martin?
That was pretty much half of the agenda, so I'm just going to say track season has started. We got 58 runners. We have our first track meet this Saturday. Matt's worked hard to get some stuff clarified with GRPA so everybody can run, and thank the board of Ed too for supplying the bus so we can get out there. It should be exciting. So thanks. Keep up the good work, team.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to give this to Ms. Tyson. I'm going to encourage all of the commissioners to read. There's an article in the Georgia Trend magazine called Live, Work, Play Cities. And that gave pretty much a size of large, medium, and small cities and what they're doing to improve their economic development outlook. And it's an interesting read because it hit a lot on quality of life. And that's something I would like to see us continue to focus on in Jones County. We have a good quality of life, and I just feel like it can only get better. So I'm asking Ms. Tyson to make a copy, and that's each board member to read it and take it in heart as we make decisions and improving the economic development outlook for Jones County. Another thing that's been going on now with the chamber, and I want everybody to jump on board as well as everybody in the county, is a Shop Local campaign. And it's encouraging people to shop local, spend the money in Jones County so that those tax dollars stay in Jones County versus being spent in Macon and Milledgeville. And that article also talked about the arts. My daughter had an opportunity to participate in an event up at the University of Georgia about 2 weeks ago. And I can't say enough about the arts program and how much we need to continue to support it and the difference that it makes. Somebody made a point, I think it was during the presentation, that everybody doesn't play football, baseball, and basketball, but some people like to dance, some people like to sing. There are a lot of talented people in our county. We need to make sure that we give them that opportunity because it gives them scholarships that can help them go on to school. Happy to know about the advances we're making with the library. Another thing I want to bring up is the T-SPLOS. I think Jason did reach out to the regional commission, and if it's okay with the board, we're going to try to schedule a couple of Thursdays after our regular board meeting on Tuesday. So it can be a constant reminder for the people about the T-SPLOS, come out and learn about it so that you can make an informed decision about it, which will be on the ballot in May. And then I also want to thank the Jones County school system and especially Gray Elementary, because on their Facebook page, they are accepting food donations for our animal services. They're asking the kids to bring in donations for food for the cats and dogs. And I think it's really good when the community buys in to what we're doing in the county. It's not something we're doing. That's something that everybody's doing. And I'm just happy to know that we got the activity bands, and hopefully the chairman will get a chance to wear it and give us some good feedback. good feedback on that, because I think it'll be something beneficial for our employees when it comes to looking out for their health, especially once John mentioned tonight about 2 of his employees having some serious health issues, as well as, Don has some health issues as well. So it's so important we take care of that. You all right then? Good. So Don has his. And I think it's just that other thing that you just look on and make you think about my health, because it makes a difference. It's not only for you, but it's for your loved ones as well. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kitchen?
One item that I talked with Jason about it, and I wanted to get a consensus from the board. It's we got one road, Stagecoach Road, we've had some issues with, some potholes. We've repaired it a couple of times, and these holes are as you top a hill, and one's in the middle of a curve, and basically I've got several calls. People are trying to dodge the pothole, and it puts them in danger of oncoming traffic. Something's not working, so we're going to need to cut out there. John and Mr. Wendell went out and looked at it. The best we can tell to get it done, it might be right around our bid threshold. We're real close. So with the situation what it is, I want to get a consensus that if it is, that we could start the bid process, not wait 2 more weeks and then go out 30 days for bid and that kind of stuff. If it comes in under it, it's budgeted in his repairs account. But just wanted to make sure we could move forward on that, because it's a pretty dangerous situation with people trying to dodge the big holes. So if it goes over, we'll cut and start the bid process on it.
It's fine with me, Chairman.
Wouldn't that give Jason authority to do so for an emergency situation? Yeah. I mean, he's already got authority in that event.
And it may not be over the threshold, it might be underneath. Just do it. The only other thing I have, everybody's probably got one, the community pride cleanup. I know Commissioner Martin will be out of town that day, so anybody that is in his district that wants to be a team captain, call me or call the number on the flyer here, and we'll get you hooked up to be the representative for that area. We've got a number on here to call. We need team captains. We need volunteers. This is part of the Great American Cleanup, and I think it's something that we, can just show our pride, show our support, show our community really has what it takes to show up and show out and clean up our community. So I hope everybody that can will participate. And there's some flyers in the boxes on the door if you don't have one. And we'll be posting some more flyers online, Facebook, and all that good stuff. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Your citizens like to come forward, send us some comments tonight? Sure.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. You may not know me, but I think many of the board do. My name is Sunset Harris. I'm from the Sun Valley Estates area, and I'm here tonight to find out exactly when we're going to get that sewer project completed. I'm having nightmares about it right now. Not only that, I have families who are coming forward and asking me, when is it going to start? When are they going to be able to get some relief? The rainy season is up on us. And when it rains, everything backs up into the house. There are families that with small children, and it creates a health issue for them. So I would like to find out exactly when we're going to get some help in that area, because we are suffering.
Mr. Rizzi, just live in that.
Mr. Chairman, I can give a quick update, and Tim's still here, and he can elaborate on this. We met maybe about a week ago, maybe a little less than that, with the regional commission, some folks from Tim's office, and Powell's, which was the one bidder on the project there. Kind of the issue we ran into on the bids was there were really deep cuts to be able to do gravity sewer lines there, and so Tim and his folks have been going back and trying to find a way that we can do the project and keep it within our budget. They're rerunning some numbers now and should have a proposal to bring before the board at the meeting in 2 weeks, I think, Tim.
I've been given at least 3 different dates. We're 2 years behind as far as the grant is concerned, And every day that passed, you know, it creates more issues over there for us. We really need that relief. You know, when do you think this may happen? You said, as far as the project actually getting started over in Sun Valley.
If the board awards it next meeting, we'll have a pre-construction conference in about a month, and probably around the 1st of May.
Okay, the last I got was the first of the year. Before that, it should have been last year, which was 12 months out. So, you know, I'm a little bit disappointed in the way this is going, because we already have the grant. I did a lot of legwork. I spent a lot of time on this with lawyers, with people in the community, with the water department. We've had a changeover. Freddie is gone. You know, we really need to get something done. And I know I can't make you guys do anything, but we're suffering.
And I think we're eager to get started with the project, and just trying to figure out a way to make it work within the funds that we had available there, and hopefully we'll be able to get it moving again in a couple of weeks.
The money is there, right?
The CDBG money, yes, it is available, and this project was actually a combination of CDBG funds and some GFA funds, and so the CDBG portion, Tim, you know more about this project than I do, but I think the CDBG portion is not enough to cover everything in that area. It's going to take some of both.
CDBG was about 500,000, GFA was about 600,000. So we had about 1.1 million, and the low bid was 1,546,000. We know we can do grinder pumps on Neptune and Coral Way. We've been we have redesigned, I probably have 6 different designs on that sewer project, trying to get away from grinder pumps and limiting what we grinders, because at the end of the day, we don't want.
So what you're saying is that you guys don't have a complete game plan, because now I was also told that there was that you guys are going to rebid this project because we only had one bidder. So is that true? You know, we did a study and we thought we had all the numbers that was needed to do this project. Now you're telling me that, you know, we're just lagging behind on it because of the fact that we're still trying to figure it out.
The issue we ran into, Freddie asked the board not to do grinders. So we didn't do grinders, we did all gravity. When we do gravity, Neptune Road completely gets obliterated. I mean, we're 22 foot deep to serve the houses there, and part of Coral Way gets obliterated. And in the paving and rebuilding of that road was about $280,000, you know, on Neptune, just on Neptune by itself. And so we're scrambling, trying to get a better way to do it without completely tearing the road apart, completely doing away with the road. We originally proposed drivers. Originally, the water department told us that was fine, and it didn't happen. And that's kind of where we're at.
I know it's discouraging, that, you know, they are working on it. You know, and I feel I have properties on Sun Valley too, and I've had to replace a couple septics, and it's been nice to have the sewer in, but it's, you know,
yeah, we're having people now that's constantly moving out of the area. I've been there 32 years, and I don't plan to move, but I would like to see something get done with it, because I don't know if any of you guys have small children. To have toilets back up into the tub when they're taking a bath, it's just awful.
Sure.
You know, I wrote my senators and other people. Mr. Martin and I have talked about it. I'm looking at doing that again, and maybe getting the media out there to film some of this. We need to get it taken care of.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to come forward? Oh, somebody want to say something?
I was going to ask Jason, during the last meeting, I think Mr. Wayne Greer was here. He's talking about Stallings Road. Do you and John mind giving us an update on, I guess, getting DOT's approval to get started on that project?
They have, the permit is supposed to be coming to Macon, and you and Mr. Wendell got to go over there and sign something.
Okay.
So that's just about done about the permit.
Okay. So once the permitting is done, then we can go ahead and move on into the Eaton Highway, or is it another step? If it stops raining?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much the only thing that's holding us up?
Yeah.
Good.
Anyone else like to come forward?
I just got a questioning comment, I suppose. If you add another well on Henderson or increase the production of the well, will that deplete the water aquifers and make them longer to replenish?
No, actually, it would actually help it, Chuck, because it'll keep the wells from having to run so long.
Anyone?
And one more thing.
Oh.
We need to say a little prayer for this gentleman right here too. He's going through something none of us need to go through with our children. He's going through some real stuff. Keep you to pray.
Thank you. Well, anyone else? Yes. Mr. Resner, one of them?
I said I didn't have anything, and then Lovita sent me a text. She wanted me to. She wanted me to announce to everybody that we recently lost one of our former Public Works employees, Joe Lewis, WIMES. Not sure how you pronounce his last name, but said he was a Public Works recycler and recently passed away. So just wanted to pass that along.
Thank you. No other citizens would like to come forward? I need a motion to adjourn and go into executive session for do we still have personnel on executive session?
Not personnel now.
Okay, no personnel, but litigation.
No litigation either, Jim.
No litigation?
No, sir.
Okay, land acquisition.
Not me.
That's you? Okay.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, second? Second. Those coming in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Be back in a little bit.
John.